of Poundcake's heroes has passed away unexpectedly. Diamond from the two women who went by Diamond and Silk. A couple of MAGA grifters who got in early, and they made a lot of appearances on right-wing cable news because it made it look like Trump had this massive audience of black voters who loved him and thought everything he did was awesome. And so these two women, they went by Diamond and Silk. And they got all kinds of FaceTime for a few years. And the girl who called herself Diamond died. Silk is still alive. Lynette Hardaway. She was young. She's 50. And they said it was completely unexpected, although her family was like, nah, she'd been sick for a while. She just don't want to talk about it. So, it must have just been that, what did Trump say? It was her big and precious heart that that just gave out, was his thoughtful eulogy. She's kind of cute, actually. You ever pay attention to Diamond and Silk?
Not really.
Oh, you didn't? When there was a big...
I knew who they were, but I didn't like...
I just remember their one saying, they were like, if you don't go right, you gonna go left. L-E-F-F-F-F.
Yes, that's right.
You
yes.
gonna go left.
Yep. Hard-hitting analysis of realpolitik like that is really what put them over the line there. But
go right or you gonna go left.
Yeah, she's only 50 years old.
That's too young to die. That scares me.
What's not too young to die? Because
80?
I'm 51, and so I'm at the age where if I were to die,
people would say that's too young.
To die. But
75.
no one would refer to 51 as young.
I would say 75 plus.
75 is when people stop asking questions, I think.
75.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
like, old age, because like sometimes bodies
It's not
just
as shocking.
shut down at 75. Like if you're in your 60s, you're like, oh wow, that was way before. That was like a little before your time to go. But once you get to like, you've been retired for 10 years plus. I'm saying like if you retire at 65, if you've been retired for 10 years plus, it's just like, well, yeah, they're laying around like they're not getting as much use as they used to, and they feel like the body is just like not responding to something. It's just shutting down.
Well, it's also tough when people on the MAGA side die too, because the story, everyone around them has to deny. What's happening?
Sorry, my volume was on when it usually is off.
The MAGA types have to deny that they died from the coronavirus. Now, she could have died from the coronavirus, but they'll never say that. And they can't say that she died from the vaccine which would also be fake, but she didn't get the vaccine. So they just kind of have to go, well, she had been sick. What was the matter with her? Nah, we don't know.
Sickness.
You don't know what happened? So now I don't know if, I guess the big question is, will Silk find a new partner? Because Diamond was the more attractive of the two, in my estimation. But they have...
Ruby and Silk.
Yeah, maybe. But they've set up a memorial fund for her that I'm sure is 100% on the level.
Opportunity for what?
Poundcake and Silk.
Hey! I mean, they've fallen out of favor for some time now, but this could be the shot in the arm, if you'll pardon a pun that they hate. This could be the shot in the arm that they need.
Maybe if I had married a nice Republican man and he wants to settle down somewhere. Okay.
Now, why does he have to be that, though?
What do you mean?
You said a nice Republican man.
I mean, they were Republicans.
Oh, you mean specifically
To replace her.
referring to them?
Yeah, if they want me to do, they're not about to get me for free. They're not about to politicize me and have me go to these little Trump rallies or whatever without me getting, feed me a Republican a day, and I'll do what you want.
I'll do whatever you want. Wow,
It's like, let me have at your men.
that's a pretty big. That's a pretty big menu too.
DLs do. I mean, not from my experience, not a whole bunch, but there's some.
Have you read your Jared Kushner book that I got you yet?
No, I haven't started it yet.
Cody.
He hasn't even started it yet.
I
He's not busy. He just hasn't started that book.
I have not started it yet, but that doesn't mean I'm not going to.
But it's got a bunch of pictures in it. That's what you said you liked about it.
I saw a page with a bunch of pictures on it. I don't know if it has, throughout the book, there's a bunch of pictures. I don't know. I haven't looked yet.
He hasn't even flipped through it.
Well, there's no point in flipping through it if I'm not going to sit down and read it. I need like a good...
People flip through books in the store.
Did you
Books they don't even buy, they'll take a second to flip through. He hasn't even leafed through
doesn't even care.
a gift that you got him that he said he wanted.
That I specifically made a note of.
This wasn't you throwing a dart at a board and saying, I hope it's a bullseye.
Nope.
He mentioned
I knew
it.
what he wanted.
You got it.
I'm going to
What about
read
your
the book.
bidet?
No, it's not installed yet.
He doesn't care about anything.
Care about anybody.
I do care.
You don't.
It's not installed yet.
Why is that?
Because me and my roommate just haven't set aside to do it yet.
See, that's why I got him the Nature's D-Pix calendar. Because he didn't have to do anything with that.
He's not. He didn't hang it up. I guarantee that. Is your
That's
calendar
fine.
No,
Nope. That's okay. He
No,
didn't do anything.
it's not. I have all my...
He got his gifts before we left for break.
Hmm?
3 weeks ago. Well, what? We came back. We came back last week.
The
Last
third.
week.
Yeah, we came back last week.
The fourth.
We were off for 2 weeks.
Yeah, we came back. The
These
third.
were in his house. We came back.
Maybe even in his car, to be honest. He might have left them in the trunk.
No,
Are they
they
still
were-
in your car? Did you?
No.
So you took the time to move them into the house.
Yes, they're in my room. These are all things I plan to get started. I just haven't started yet. I'm
When?
a master procrastinator.
When do you think you'll start them?
The reason why I didn't install the bidet is because I don't trust myself on doing it correctly, and I want my roommate there just in case something goes wrong. So I can place blame on him. Now, the Jared Kushner book, I
Wouldn't
haven't.
you feel so accomplished, though, if you went on YouTube? Listen, I would imagine Bill can probably attest. It's probably not tough.
It's very easy.
I'm sure it's very easy, but I'm not the only one that uses that toilet.
But you'd
And-
feel so accomplished if you did it. Imagine the bragging you could do to everyone who had open ears about you installing a bidet in your home.
I'm going to install it, and I'll film myself installing it, but I just didn't do it yet. And the Jared Kushner book is sitting right on my nightstand. I looked at it.
It's at arm's reach, and he hasn't even opened it up. He's looked at the cover. So that means you haven't even seen Mary's heartfelt inscription on the
No,
inside.
he didn't even read it. I was waiting for him to mention it, but
Oh, well, I'll go home and open it. Yeah.
no, it's not worth it now.
It really isn't. You didn't see what she wrote to you on the inside of the book.
No, I didn't see it.
Because she showed it to me first, and she's like, hey,
Do you think he'll like this?
do you think that this is appropriate? Do you think that this is something, that I should write to him in this book? And I said, I think it's great.
No, I didn't see it yet.
Wow. This guy. And he wants everyone to think of him. He wants his family and
How could
friends
we?
to consider him
After something like this.
more frequently. Why aren't they thinking of me? Because you're not thinking of them.
Pardon me, I need to stare off into the street for a moment.
Wistfully?
Wistfully.
What's wistfully mean?
If you read your Jared Kushner
Yeah,
book,
you
you'd
would
know.
Shut up, Poundcake.
No, I'm gonna read it. It's right on my nightstand. I opened it, and then something came up, and then I was like, "Well, I want to set aside at least an hour." and
What
then-
came up?
I don't remember what it was.
Now
but
you know.
it was just this past
you
weekend.
know you're not going to read any book for an hour. Don't lie.
I'm gonna do like an
Be
hour. a day.
honest.
No, I am.
You won't.
I will.
So over the past 3 weeks,
Film yourself
you
doing
haven't had
Fool
an
myself for
hour.
an hour.
Go on Instagram Live. Just set it up. Leave it there
People
so we
are gonna
can
comment,
clock it.
What is he doing? Reading his Jared Kushner book.
We can
Just
time
so
lapse
there's
it.
proof. That's so boring, and I don't even know. That would be like a lot of work. Just to
You know
sit-
how much boring stuff is on Instagram and TikTok Live
Reading
that people
Jared
just
Kushner
tune
book.
into because
not saying
people
a
are
word.
bored?
Fine, I'll do that. That sounds funny.
Do
Yeah.
it. I say do that. Also, last night I was on TikTok because I couldn't sleep, and there was this girl having people send their boyfriend's number, and then she would try to get them to like flirt with her.
Oh
Mhm.
no.
There's a girl on Instagram who
Entrapment.
has made her entire model. She has millions of followers. Or I'm sorry, TikTok. Who that's her whole model. Is she's
I
like,
wonder if this was the same girl.
these
Probably.
girls, they'll be like, hey, girl, help me out. I think my boyfriend's cheating on me. Here's his page, slide in his DMs. And they pay her to slide into their boyfriend's DMs as like a loyalty test. That's what it's called. She does loyalty tests.
That
And
is
so
trifling.
if she comes back and goes, no, he was great. He said, no,
Yeah.
Probably waxed your
Congrats.
feet.
You have a good one.
congrats.
Yeah.
Well, that's like the one person that she got on the phone. She's like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "Watching you," and she's like, "Too popular now."
Yeah, it only works for so long.
Yeah, that's why. That's not normally what I watch.
and the
Usually, I'm
only
watching trains,
I will say, Alan, the only reason why I don't
toy
have
trains.
the only reason why I don't have your
Yeah, right. He's Toy Trains is what he's going to watch. What?
the only reason why I don't have your calendar hanging up is because I have the Cavs calendar.
No, trust me. I wasn't complaining. I was simply saying that I assumed that mine is no different than theirs. Here's my question to you.
Mm-hmm.
You know a spare hour is not going to present itself to you. You would have to
I have
set
to
one
make time.
aside.
Yes, I didn't.
And when
set
you
aside-
have an hour, you're not going to read a book. You couldn't tell us a book that you liked from college or high school.
'Cause I
You
don't
couldn't
remember one.
recount a book.
We said, Cody, name a book. And you couldn't do
Name
it.
a book.
I said Haroon and the Sea of Stories or something like that.
But you didn't even know the name. You're not a bibliophile, is my point, right? So you haven't even leafed through. You didn't even open it to look of whatever androgynous android weirdo sex appeal Jared Kushner has to you.
I looked at the cover.
The cover.
This nice little suit.
It's enough for him. He just needs a nice little suit on a Republican man. Just a little piece of eye candy. That's it, right? What else could you need?
What's the book called?
It's called Jared Kushner, My Truth.
Is that what it's called?
I don't know. I just looked for a Jared Kushner book.
I mean,
I honestly couldn't tell you what it's called, and I bought it.
That's
From
not
what
what
I-
it's called.
it's
It's not called Jared Kushner, My Truth.
It's called Jared Kushner.
This guy couldn't have the word truth within
I
100
was like,
miles of
I
anything.
honestly- I can't. I got to give him a pass because I bought it.
It's
and don't know
called
what it's
Breaking History,
Oh,
which is
that's
way
it.
more appropriate.
My truth.
My truth. Jared Kushner, my truth. Nailed it. And he said that with the same confidence that Mary relates her anecdotal evidence to
Yes.
people. All right.
No, I'm going to read it.
When?
Before bed. I'll start tonight.
But you go to bed every night. How have you not in the last 3 years? I'm sorry, 3 weeks.
I didn't set aside time for it, and there was just things that had come up.
So many things, Alan. He's a busy, busy boy.
And
busy boy.
saying an hour is maybe like half hour. I could do a half hour before bed. I usually go to bed around like 11:30, so I read from 11:30 to midnight, and I'll just page the whole canal.
Poundcake, come on. You know you're lying.
I'm not lying, Ghost Bag.
You know you are.
Shut up, Ghost Bag. I'm not lying.
You ain't gonna wear it to no. You ain't gonna read no book.
I will read a book.
When?
I'll do it tonight.
Tonight. What time tonight? Because I'll be there. And I'll let everybody know whether or not you're reading a book.
I'm trying to decide before or after Fab, but it'll be tonight.
Yeah, but if you do it after, you're gonna be too tired. You won't be able to keep your tiny little eyes open.
Well, maybe it'll be good inspiration for Fab, so I will probably read before. So I usually go to bed around midnight, so 11 to 11:30, Jared Kushner time.
What about during?
Oh.
I mean, you only need one hand to hold a book, and you only need one hand to hold yourself.
Well, I can lay it on my bed. And look down. I don't have to like hold it.
Why'd you hold it? I think you're scared. That's what I think. You're scared.
Scared of what?
Books.
I'm not scared of books.
You're terrified of books.
No, I'm not. They smell good. They smell fresh and crisp. And there's pictures.
Poundcake, would you like to let everybody know what your secret is? You can't read, sucker. I know it. Everybody else knows it. You don't know how to read, and I think that everybody should be on the same page, if you'll pardon the pun.
I know exactly how to read. I just don't know how to talk. There's a difference.
But we know that.
Yeah,
What's
but
that got to do with reading books?
it doesn't stem from me not knowing what the words are. I just don't know how to pronounce them. I had hooked on phonics. I had all the fixins.
Because a little while ago, you thought an apiary is where gorillas lived.
Well, I
You
was.
were talking about a beekeeper factory.
Okay, you got me there, but it wasn't a big deal.
All right.
I'm gonna read tonight. I'm gonna set aside half hour.
Listen, I want to believe you, baby.
Why don't you come to our book?
I want to believe you.
I'm gonna look up to see if there's any Jared Kushner book clubs around here, and then you can come to our meetings, and I'll be like the spokesperson.
Jared Kushner book club. What the hell? I just wanted to see what time you were going to be doing it tonight.
I said 11:30 to midnight.
I don't mean reading. I mean the other thing. The wacky.
11 to 11:30.
11 to 11. 30 minutes? I don't have 30 minutes, homie.
What do you mean? What else you got to do?
I got places to be, dummy. I can't wait around for you to take 30 minutes.
Well, sometimes it takes a little longer. You gotta, get yourself ready.
All right. Good luck. I gotta go.
Bye.
Yeah.
Act like I'm doing him a favor.
I mean, you're not being kind to him.
Who's what? Who's doing you a favor? Somebody's doing you a favor?
Ghostback thinks he's doing me a favor by spying on me. I never asked him for that. I didn't ask him to intrude the very first time.
That is true. Nobody's going to stop you from reading Jared Kushner, My Truth. Jared Kushner, My Truth.
His evil twin, Jaron.
Right.
My truth.
That's what I thought it was. I forgot the name of it. Breaking history.
But what a great way to, you say like you can read the words, you just don't know what they mean. How do people expand their vocabulary? Reading. Come on.
Dude, I'm just saying I skimmed. I didn't take advantage of the education when it was presented to me, and it's all my fault. So I understand the consequences of that now, but back then I didn't. Like in college, I read just enough to pass the test. I knew just enough to pass the test. I wanted to get the answers right. And if it was chapter 1 through 12, I read what I thought was important, and everything else, poof.
But how did you know what was important?
My brain does a lot of work to not do a lot of work.
You what?
I don't know. I just felt like I skimmed. I don't know what the brain processes when it skims, but you get some information, but you don't get all of it. So I wasn't getting A's on the test, but I was getting B's and C's. I probably could have gotten A's had I applied myself.
Gotcha. But you were cool with C's. You were like, I'm fine being regarded as academically average.
I didn't get a lot of C's. I got a lot of B's. And yes, those were good enough for me. Because I was like, yeah, great.
It's always interesting to me when people go, I could have gotten A's if I'd applied myself.
Well,
why didn't you apply yourself?
Right.
Because I didn't want to.
If it was so easy.
I was in college.
It's too easy.
So
what was the point?
I didn't want
I
to.
didn't need
What a
to.
great answer.
Well, that particular
I
class-
didn't want to.
I didn't want to.
Yeah. No, you didn't. I'm talking about him.
Right.
But that class, but there are certain classes you take in college where you don't really care about. You need the credit. I needed the credit. I didn't care about that class. I didn't want to read. I knew how to read. I just didn't read for leisure like some people do. People who read for leisure scare me.
They scare you.
You should be scared of us.
Yeah.
This whole thing has been about you reading Mary's book leisurely.
I know that, but I'm saying when
He's going to scare himself. He's going to read right next to a mirror.
afraid.
And he's too afraid. He'll be terrified the whole thing.
But yeah, if I'm going to read for leisure, a Jared Kushner book is going to be what it is. So I'm going to start it.
Well, not yet.
I just haven't started it yet.
Yep, not yet. I mean, you could if you really applied yourself.
I start tonight.
All right, good. Well, we'll be excited to hear about
It's gonna be a
whatever.
whole 6 pages.
I was going to say,
You're taking 30 minutes to read.
Mister, I'll read for an hour, please. He'll read a few pages. He'll get on his phone.
No,
He'll
I'm gonna,
flip through TikTok for 2 hours.
gonna put it on.
I don't have an hour to read. I got TikTok for 2 hours.
Yeah, do it on Instagram Live so we can all clock it. Heck, read it out loud.
Yeah.
We said that. Do it as like a
That's
not
your
like an audio book, but like as just like 6 episodes of your podcast is you reading out loud the Jared Kushner book.
But submit it as your audition for the audiobook.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think we said that.
Probably did. This is Cody Brown. Take 1. This is my audition for Jared Kushner, My Truth.
Isn't that Corey Feldman book?
Chapter 1. I don't know. I've got to take a break. I will have Bush tickets for you. I don't know who's opening for them. I know Bush is doing some dates with Jerry Cantrell. I know they're doing some dates with Candlebox. It might just be them in Cleveland. I don't know. But Bush is a great live band. So they're coming to do MGM Northfield Park in February, just a few weeks away. February 10th is when that Bush show happens. So you want to check them out, I'll hook you up coming back. And another $1,000 for you, not far off either. 4:30 next keyword, you'll get to go